What's up, Big 12 Nation? It is Tuesday night in America. That can mean only one thing. And it's time for another edition of your favorite YouTube-centric college football show. That's right. It's the one. It's the only. I just right-clicked my screen. It's the Biggest 12 with Clint Foster. Wherever you are, thanks so much for making us a part of your Tuesday night. And yes, we are themed in the world's brightest orange today. Because, buddy, do we have some breaking news to talk about on this show. You've all seen it, unless you're living under a rock. The Mike Gundy era is officially over at Oklahoma State. They did not even wait to finish out the season. Tulsa was enough. They said, that is enough for us. We have seen enough. We're moving on. We're going to break it all down here in a moment and talk about the games of the week and, of course, our dope and cope. But before we get to any of that, you know I need something from you. I need for you to subscribe to the show, baby. Come on. There it is, rolling down the bottom of the screen at Big 12 VOCFB. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. We are oh so freaking close. 968. All right? That's 32. I need 32 people. 32 people, and I can start getting paid for this daggum show. Come on, y'all. I'm not asking very much. I'm asking for you to click a little button, and that's going to help me out oh so very much. So help me make that happen. Tell everyone you know. Hell, start making Google accounts and subscribing. I don't care. Do what you got to do. Let's get ourselves over the hump so we can make this a international movement, okay? And while you're subscribing to things and following things, make sure that you subscribe to my personal YouTube channel at Clint Foster Creations and follow me on Twitter at Clint_Foster55 for my various exceptionally wise musings. You gotta subscribe to Clint Foster Creations because that's where you're going to see Remember the Alamo Bowl. Y'all, it is out and the reviews are in. People are loving it, and I'm so glad and so humbled and so grateful that you're loving it. That is something that I am not making a dime off of, and I will not make a dime off of. Thank you very much, Disney. But I just want people to see it. I want people to see it. I want people to enjoy it. Rams story needs to be heard. TCU story needs to be heard. Check it out now. It's feature length. I put a lot of love and TLC into it, and I just want the college football world to enjoy it. So do it and share it around. Spread the word about it. In the words of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Spread the tapes. Yeah, I'm sure people know about this thing. I just want people to see it and enjoy it. Also, make sure you're finding the Voice of College Football wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, you know the things. Download us, make us a part of your daily life, your commute, and all of that good stuff. And make sure you check out the Voice of College Football store, the shop. Yes, here we'll put it up on the screen for you in case you didn't know. If you don't know, now you know. Here it is. Boom! There it is. Look at those tops of hats. Okay. Voice of College Football store. We got a lot of VOCFB branded merch for you to get on your head or on your body. Okay. So do that and enter in your promo code Big 12 VOCFB. That's going to let them know that we sent you. And you better believe I'm going to let you know as soon as we get that promised Biggest 12 merch. I'm going to be the first to let you know. Okay, so if you're holding out for that, I understand. But, got lots of good options here already. Okay? So, that's the long and short of it. So, I've blubbered on for long enough. Let's get this thing going. Oh, and Comfy Rambles, thank you so much for the kind words. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Share it around, man. Share it around. So, let me welcome in my two guests of the evening. Obviously, you know him, you love him. He's back for more. He can't quit the show. Brownie is here, ladies and gentlemen. And for the first time in a long while, you know him on Twitter as Uniformity. He is our resident Sun Devil for the evening. Cole Streeper, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing tonight on this beautiful Tuesday?
Better than the Gundy family.
Ooh, buddy.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. Man just lost his job. Brownie is taking no prisoners. How are you doing, Cole? You're muted, dude. You're muted.
Off to a stellar start. Doing great, man. Doing great. 1-0 in conference play. Haven't lost a conference game since the mighty Cincinnati Bearcats last year, and we'll see what happens. Me me and you are facing off this weekend. So
Exciting stuff.
it's gonna be a big time matchup.
Friday Night Lights, what no one asked for, right? Okay, so but before we get into any of that, we gotta, we referenced it at the top of the show. We gotta talk about it. Mike Gundy out at Oklahoma State. What was y'all's first reaction to hearing the news?
I think that it was a few games too late.
Mm.
I don't think that he should have been a coach for this season, or at least told him that he has until the end of the season, one or the other.
Yeah. Kind of surprised they didn't wait until the end of the season. Kind of feels like this season's already kind of shot. So I don't know what kind of buyout or anything there is. There is kind of an interesting choice, but it's just weird because you got to have a mainstay in not just in the conference but in college football, and somebody who played there and coached there and had how many consecutive winning seasons for a program that was basically a middler for a long time, and he's done a lot of great things. It's just you don't keep up with the Joneses, the NIL holdouts. It's coming back to bite them, and it's bit him hard. So not surprised, but kind of an interesting choice for 4 weeks into the season.
Yeah, well, you referenced it, Cole. Gundy, one of he's among the last of a dying breed. We're really seeing the end of an era. All of the coaches of our youth, right, who, I mean, frankly, haven't been able to adapt to this new NIL atmosphere, right? The Gary Pattersons, the Gundys, all of them easily the greatest coaches at their respective schools.
Yeah.
And they're having to be moved on from because we're in a whole new world here. Nick Saban didn't want to coach under this, right? That's half the reason he retired. He's like, I'm not built for that new world where I'm not the only one who can cheat, right? Like it's kind of wild to think of it like that. Like we're getting old, But yeah, it's certainly not an easy choice that Oklahoma State had to make, and unfortunately, I think they found themselves choosing the worst out of three potential options. Either you can him before the beginning of the season, or you let him ride it out and wait till the end of the season. The middle feels like the worst possible option because now you're only going to harm your recruiting, right? And no coach is going to accept a job until bowl season. So you can start looking, but you could also do that if you're going to let Gundy ride it out. So I don't really know what the thought process there was. At any rate, former TCU coach and remember the Alamo Bowl star Doug Meacham, the interim coach at Oklahoma State, and they are going to have a very, very tough row to hoe. Yes, I'm a man. I'm out of a job. I'm 58. Yes, Dish Fish. We're literally around the anniversary, I believe, of that press conference. Ironically enough, but let's talk about this, gentlemen. Brownie, me and you were texting about this a little bit. If Oklahoma State's smart, who do you think they're looking to hire to fill this role?
I mean, if I was them, I think your first couple of calls is going to be Alex Golish down at USF. I think he's done extremely well. He was a GA at Okie State. He's been here and there and everywhere at almost every position. Offensively, whether it be at Toledo, Iowa State, Illinois before that, took the reins over at USF, and honestly has proven that he can be a winner. And him constantly beating up on P4 schools at USF with far worse resources, I believe, than what Okie State has. I think that should be probably one of your main calls. Another one that I've been seeing around is Zach Robinson, which obviously Okie State quarterback alumni, 2006 to 2009, went and played in the NFL, assistant play caller for the Rams, now the OC out at Atlanta. So he obviously has another offensive mind, to where Okie State is kind of used to it. And Robinson kind of knows the program. But for that one, I think it's kind of a catch-22 because you look at the Scott Frosts of the world, you go back to your alumni and your alma mater, and there's a potential for you to fail. And is it really something that you want to pin your legacy on. Because I know a lot of Nebraska fans now have a hatred for Scott Frost because he made them absolute dookie as a head coach.
Or
And it
look
just
at Tech with
completely
Cliff
wiped away.
Kingsbury, right? Tech with Cliff
Yeah.
Kingsbury is the same thing.
Yeah, and it's one of those where I honestly think that they should consider both options. I think that both of them deserve calls. I know that when you and I were talking, you also brought up Kinney at Texas State.
GJ Kinney. Yeah, and of course this is a Texas colored perspective. Okay, but I feel like GJ Kinney is an obvious choice. He has really built Texas State very quickly into a real competitor. I mean, Arizona State knows a thing or two about Texas State, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Give us a
GJ
good
Kinney,
last
he
one.
has got deep roots in the state of Texas. He is a former high school football coach in the state of Texas. And if Oklahoma State is ever going to be successful, they got to recruit the state of Texas. Okay. So that feels like an obvious choice to me for that reason alone, right? Bringing in fresh talent from the Lone Star State.
Yeah, and I think it's really going to be down to, I mean, when you even look at his age, I mean, he's what, 35, 36, 37? Like, he's in my age bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And he's succeeding at Texas State. Like, is he prepared to take on that P4? And is Okie State going to be able to give him the resources and the leash that he needs to? I mean, let's be honest here. Okie State's cupboard is about as bare as it gets, I think, right now. And the 2026 recruiting class was looking up and up, but their top running back prospect just decommitted. And I mean, you need to get on the phone with that kid or something, or tell him what your plan is. Be full transparent with him in order to try to get him to recommit to you or something. I just personally don't know how the heck you're going to do that in the middle of the season.
Yeah, when there's not a clear path forward. Cole, do you have any thoughts off the dome about where they moved after this?
It kind of depends on what direction they want to go. Do they want somebody in the short term that's maybe a little bit more established to kind of come in and do the thing, or are they just looking to rebuild and go young with a GJ Kinney type? I love that. I don't know if there's a better option than that. Another thought that I had was another up-and-comer who had just finished up a spot at UNLV as their offensive coordinator, is currently the head coach at Sac State, and Brandon Marion, who's one hell of a recruiter. So if you wanted a quick turnaround as far as that's concerned, and to inject some life into the program and an offensive style that Oklahoma State fans would really identify with, because it's high powered and that's something that they enjoyed for well over a decade before things kind of started to stall. Brandon Marion is that guy. He comes in with a big time high energy offense, and so that's his deal. So otherwise, if they wanted to come in and do something a little bit more established, I think Danny Gonzalez, the defensive coordinator at Arizona, would be a nice little fit. Just kind of like plug some holes and get some. He had to stop at his alma mater, New Mexico, for a little bit, and then that's probably about it. I was thinking about Dan Mullen, but I think he's probably a little bit past that time.
I don't think I'd go Dan Mullen. I think I'd want somebody younger if I was.
But yeah, I mean, between going the younger route, GJ Kinney, Brendan Marion are probably the two names that stick out the most to me.
Yeah. And Colin Klein. Stealing from Kansas State.
They're wishing they could have him back. I know that.
I know. And I think it's kind of funny. And I mean, I threw you Colin Klein just mostly because, like, he's another up and comer. He knows the Big 12. I mean, he's the K-State great Mount Rushmore quarterback. He was the one that got Avery Johnson to go to Kansas State. And I mean, he's turned Tamu's offense into some sort of offense. So I think it's kind of funny because I've been telling a lot of my K-State friends, I was like, oh, watch out. Like, Okie State's going to hire Colin Klein, and they're going to put it in his contract where it's going to be a huge freaking buyout in order for him to leave Okie State if you want him, and you're going to be stuck with Kleiman for a few years because you waited too long. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Bearcat fan, I see you in the chat. Bearcat fan says Oklahoma State should hire Satterfield. Yeah, you wish. You wish they'd hire Satterfield. Hey, Timothy, see you there. Or Neil Brown. Yeah, Neil Brown. Okay. Well, we'll see how that develops, and of course, we'll cover it as it does. Moving on to our dope and cope of last week. Y'all know the rules. We're going to highlight something dope from the last week that you loved, you thought it was great, and somebody who's coping because they just sucked so bad. Brownie, why don't you lead us off?
Okay. I'm going to start with our cope because I have been going at it recently with this individual. But the AP pollers, like, what the hell are we doing?
God.
Stole mine.
Like, what are we doing? There are some very specific individuals that I will not throw under the bus. However, all of them need to be thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
Like, it is so bad. Like,
what the hell is Illinois doing in the poll? What is the hell is Texas doing in the top 10? Well, frankly, Notre Dame should not be ranked.
Yeah.
There's absurdity all up and down.
Utah dropping out after, and I know that they got beat, but they didn't get beat like Illinois got beat. You know, it's just insane. A wild time in the AP poll.
They literally come up with an excuse to drop any Big 12 team out of the poll, but then they try to justify ACC, Big 12, Big 10, like, to stay in there. My dope, and I wish that I had my graphic back up, but it was, I think it was the thing that I sent you the other night, Clint. The dope being the Big 12 doing as good as we did for the interconference results.
Oh, yeah.
So the interconference, so P4 versus P4, was broken down like this. The SEC went 9-3. The Big 12 went 8-6. Big 10 went 5-5. And the ACC was absolute buns going 4-12. I find it amusing that it was the ACC that had the most P4s scheduled on their actual non-con, followed by the SEC and then the Big 12. Actually, math is not mathing for me. It's Big 12, then the SEC. But the Big 10 only had 10 total P4s scheduled in that entire, conference. 10. And you're telling me that this is one of the top 2 best in the country, and they only scheduled 10 non-P4s?
Ridiculous.
That is insane. That is absolutely ridiculous, and I absolutely hate it. So, kudos to the Big 12 for going above 500, even though some of those were absolute BS, aka Nebraska-Cincinnati game. We already knew that Okie State was going to lose to Oregon. So we already were guaranteed a loss there, but Colorado being buns was not in my my list of things happening.
Right.
Sorry, we didn't hold up our end of the bargain. We decided to.
Yeah, Mississippi State was not a good
bunch
game
of jerks. Friggin' only ringing 2 cowbells at practice. What the hell were you thinking?
Yeah, you needed to literally pull out the biggest amount of speakers that you could and just start ringing them as loud as you could.
Yeah, I mean, we just like to blitz single high in critical situations and not get home. That's just the thing that we like to do.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and do mine to give you, Cole, a little more time to think about your dope and cope. But I think the whole ACC sucking thing leads perfectly into my cope of the week. And my cope of the week belongs to a little guy named Rhett Lashley, who decided to have himself a diatribe after losing possibly the last iron skillet in the history of mankind. And listen, I've been on record as saying this. I may be the only fan in America who is actually sad that this game is going away. I loved beating up on SMU. I can understand the arguments that it doesn't do us any good and why are we playing 11 Power 4 games and yada yada this, but this was hilarious. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and read it to you because I think it's worth hearing Rhett Lashley's full unhinged post-game thoughts. I'm sure it was a really big deal for them to win this game after what we did to them last year. Of course, SMU did absolutely take TCU to the woodshed last year. They were motivated. We put 66 on them. We didn't beat them today. They did. They're 3-3 in the last 6 times we played, which is not true. Okay. They were the ones that chose not to play. And when you lose, you can't really say anything. But I think they know what we're building. I think they know what's coming. I think everybody else does. This stinks. I hate losing. I hate losing to them. I hate losing to anybody. I hate it for our players, our fans, our administration, our donors, everybody. They all care. They're all invested in this. We represent them, and I hate it when we don't come through for them. But I know one thing. What we're building for the long haul. It's funny. You go 2-2 to start the season. People forget you've won 22 games in the last 2 years, or that you've not lost a conference game in almost 3 years in the regular season. We've done a lot to get where we are. We're just not there yet. The process is not straight linear. There are going to be ups and downs on the climb, but make no mistake, we're climbing. People can stay on board, or they can be a part of it, or they can not and watch us when we're up. We've got a lot of work to do. They won. They earned it. They didn't want to play us no matter what, whether they won or lost, so you have to ask them. We weren't the ones that wanted to stop playing the game. We're going to play teams on our schedule. We're going to play in the ACC, one of the best 3 leagues in America. We're going to go to Notre Dame next year. We're going to go have OU come to town, and then we're going to go home with LSU, and then we're going to keep building a program that keeps playing on that stage, and we're not going to worry about what happens 40 miles west of us. Cope! Suck on that copium, Rhett Lashley, you dope. Okay? What a joke. I didn't even mean to rhyme that many times, but somebody is salty AF.
Spit it.
Somebody is salty. What is happening here? Why isn't it letting me put us in our normal setting here? So that's my cope of the week. That's my cope of the week. My dope has to go to, I'm just going to keep it Iron Skillet because why the heck not? My dope goes to Eric McAllister, who, were it not for some BS ACC officiating, would have set a new TCU single game record for receiving touchdowns and receiving yards in a game. That man absolutely was playing out of his mind, completely took over that game. In a game that was, TCU was controlling the game, but it was back and forth until Eric McAllister just decided, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I just decided to go off. Had himself a Jerry Rice day, to be completely honest with you. And yes, as a result of that, TCU is living rent-free in Rhett Lashley's head. And SMU is a joke. You're right, Root. So that's my dope and cope of the week.
Totally.
Right. My turn. Dope. I'll start with that. If y'all remember, last year, Kenny Dillingham had some words about the kicking game at Arizona State. And so not to be a homer on this, but
be a homer, please.
Be a homer. All right. But this is a real dope thing. We had Jesus Gomez go 4 for 4 in the game against Baylor in Waco and kick a game-winning field goal as time expired. He is the Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Week. That is not a thing that has happened at Arizona State in a very, very long time. It is very cool for him, very cool for the team to have somebody that we can trust. His reliability almost made fans question what Kenny Dillingham did against Mississippi State on 4th and 1 or 4th and goal from the 1 and kicking that field goal rather than trying to go for it, which ended up kind of biting us in the butt. But yeah, that's the dope. Forks up to Jesus Gomez, and thank you for having a foot that is true. The cope. Texas's marketing of Arch Manning.
Oh my God, yes.
Standing over a Sam Houston State player after a very run-of-the-mill touchdown run. And I guess that guy has been drawn out Arch all game. Whatever, man. But like, say what you got to say. But the way that they're just pouring it on, like he's like this like attitude type player is something different. It's just gross. It's gross. I'm tired of the hype and the lack of results. So like they're just jumping on something for him to have because it's been slow going for him. So that's my cope. cope in Texas. You're coping.
Yeah, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. You thought we were not going to talk about it when we're talking about last week, Cole, but Dishfish brought it up. The ASU player humping the Baylor logo after the game.
I don't know who that was. It was, and honestly, I don't know who it was. It was really far away. It was really super blurry for the screen cap that was taken and zoomed in. What I do know is that I think it's a wide receiver who does not have a catch this year. And,
of course it is.
And so, if you watch the video, one of his teammates goes over and like gets on his ass about it, and then Dillingham, Dillingham went right over to him, started chewing him out. So like, I love to see that because in the previous era, Antonio Pierce probably would have been right there with him humping the U. So it was, yeah. And Hearn would have been just writing in his little Blue's Clues notebook about something. So that was good to see as far as the response to it, but that was so cheesy. And that's borderline cope. That's the ASU cope of the week because that was cheesy. I didn't like that at all.
Jeez. All right, let's start previewing some games for next week. But first, we'll see if we can't get a little message to you about one of our sponsors. Go download Novig. Use promo code VOCFB Big 12, and you're gonna get, I think it's like, you spend $1 and you get like 50 coins or something. It's a new sports betting app. Very, very fun stuff. Very, very exciting. You're using coins instead of dollars to bet, and there's all sorts of different props you can pick up. If you're a sportsbook guy, you definitely need to check out this app. It's the bomb. And if you use that promo code, not only is it going to be a great deal for you to start out, it's going to let them know that we sent you, and that's going to be really great for us. You got to be 21 or older to participate, and if you have a gambling problem, don't mess around with it. Call 1-800-GAMBLER before you lose your house. Okay, nobody wants that. Not in this economy, right? Okay, so moving right along to our first game of the week. Cincinnati travels to Lawrence, where the Jayhawks are 4.5-point favorites at 11 a.m. Yes, we are holding back. We are going to talk about the Friday night game at the end of the show, so fear not, Devils and Frogs. But let's talk about Bearcats and Jayhawks. I mean, it's hard not to like Kansas in this game. I know we've got at least one Cincinnati fan watching right now. What are y'all's thoughts on it?
Love Sorsby.
For the upset.
Yeah, I love Sorsby, but I feel like Kansas just has too much firepower. I take them to cover.
Nah, Cincinnati's going to go in there and upset. I'm feeling it.
Yep. Bring it.
By 15.
Oh.
Well, so not just upset, but dominate. Okay.
Oh, yeah. They're going in and they're going to Kansas what Kansas did to everybody last year.
Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Coming in hot.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that they are the last powerhouse to defeat ASU in the Big 12. So but I mean, I'm
hidden powerhouse.
I do, like I said, I do love Sorsby. He's been doing some things. That game against Nebraska was, I feel like, just kind of an anomaly. And so, can he do it against Kansas's defense? He can do some things. So, but I'm sticking with Kansas.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the shock of shocks to me if Cincinnati did find a way to win this game. I just feel like, Timothy referenced it in the comments. Kansas looked pretty solid against West Virginia. It seems like they shook off any of the nonsense that we saw against Missouri. Jalen Daniels is playing at a high level right now. So, I just think it's a little early for them to fall apart completely. I like them. I like them winning this game at Cincinnati. Now, this next one, I am not so sure about. Okay. And I've actually, in my personal pick'em, I was struggling with this. Okay. Because initially we talked about this being one of the games that Kansas State could definitely win, right? We were like, hey, are there 3 games they can win? If there is, this is one of them. And Kansas State's a 6.5-point favorite. But they've just looked so bad all year. They've looked so bad. And I'm like, UCF played really well against North Carolina. Not quite as well as TCU did, but like they played well. And so I'm sitting here being like, I mean, is UCF going to march into Manhattan and do what Army did and embarrass Kansas State? I mean, they're not going to hold the ball for, an hour and a half. But how should I feel about this game, y'all? How should I feel about it?
6.5 is being generous because I think that UCF is definitely going to be covering because I really don't know if K-State has figured it out yet. And until they prove it, I'm still going to say that it's just going to be 1-point contests or one possession.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be field goals.
I mean, the fact that Kansas State literally refused to put away Arizona, refused. And Arizona refused to put them away as well. But there were so many opportunities to win that game, and the fact that they couldn't do it, that's really what has made me be like, can they even beat UCF? I don't know. I really don't know.
And not only do I think UCF covers, I think UCF wins, even going into Manhattan. I take them. Avery Johnson is such an electric athlete, but he has not put it together as a quarterback or leader of this team, and the offense has sputtered. Really, I mean, since the end of last season and going, they have not looked palatable. I mean, watching Kansas State play offense has not been fun. Just for an observation as a general fan of college football. Sometimes there's a play that happens and you're like, man, that guy is an electric athlete. But, calling a quarterback draw on the 12-yard line and watching him get in the end zone once a game is not cutting it. It's just not cutting it.
Yeah. Well, Jace Brown's their
instant reaction to run backwards.
Yeah.
It's literally as soon as he snaps the ball and there's pressure in his face, he runs backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets intentional grounding because he ran backwards, never escaped the tackle box, and then can't throw it past the line of scrimmage. What are we doing, Avery?
Yeah.
They broke him.
Yeah.
He's so much better as a dual threat.
Yeah, y'all have convinced me. I don't think Kansas State wins this game. I don't think Kansas State wins this game. Man, they just looked so bad. It's
cheeks.
It's stunning. It's stunning to even
absolutely
fathom.
Sometimes I prayed for people's downfalls, and you know what? I am so glad it's finally coming.
Yeah, we're watching it happen. Hey, I'm just glad that TCU might win a freaking game in Manhattan this year. Golly, I don't think we've done it since 2015. To be completely honest with you,
sadness.
I'm trying to scan my brain. I don't think we've won in Manhattan since 2015. Golly Moses. Okay, so this is very interesting to me. Somebody on Twitter pointed out, hey, is Oklahoma State on the TCU track, fire legendary head coach midway through the season and then go to the national championship the next year? And I was like, well, they also have to remember that they're supposed to beat a Baylor team at home that they're huge underdogs against. Oh my God. Literally the week that they're firing their coach, same as TCU in 2021. They're playing Baylor at home, and they are 3-touchdown dogs at home. I don't think Oklahoma State wins this game, though. I don't think there's any way they win this game.
Good teams win football games. Great teams cover the spread, and I really hope they cover the spread because 20.5 points is a lot of points.
It is a lot of points. I think Baylor can cover it, though.
I think Baylor covers. I think between the distraction of the firing this week, Oklahoma State has not proven that they can score more than 15 points in a game. And I love Sawyer Robertson. It was surgical, some of the things that he was doing against a decent ASU defense last week that held him in check for most of the game. But some of the things that he would do going through his progressions, just watching how good of an actual quarterback he is. And Todd Grantham led defenses are just disastrous. They honestly should have fired Gundy when he hired Todd Grantham as the defensive coordinator to fix the defense this year, because that is just one of the worst decisions of all time. So Baylor is going to come in and they scored points against SMU, right? And Oklahoma State's defense is nowhere close to that of SMU's. And coming off a game against ASU, who I do think that we do have our offense is the issue right now. We'll get to that. later. But AC's defense is good, and if you kind of compare that to like swinging the bat in the on deck circle with a batting donut on, taking it off, and then all of a sudden that bat feels real light. That's good. That's what it's going to be like playing against ASU's defense going against Oklahoma State's defense the next week. I see Baylor carving up Oklahoma State. I take them to cover.
Nice analogy. Yeah, this feels like a get right game in a big way for Baylor. Baylor's been it's been such a roller coaster early season for Baylor with like the embarrassing loss to Auburn, and then you like pull a rabbit out of a hat at SMU when their kicker is like so high on blow that he misses 3 field goals, and then you lose again to Arizona State at home at night wearing the anthracite uniforms. I mean, this has get right game all over it. Sorry about you, Oklahoma State. I don't see it. Yeah, Comfy, I think you're right. I don't think Oklahoma State does win another game this year, and it's going to be wild seeing Boone Pickens Stadium empty. Okay. Next game. Oh, actually, let's really quickly. Well, my media assets are not cooperating with me right now, so we're just going to keep looking at games. I'm down with that. Utah, fresh off the loss at home to Texas Tech. Utah, no stranger to embarrassing losses when ranked at home. Yes, I said it. Now they got to go to West Virginia. Congratulations. Travel across the dadgum country to a bunch of rabid Appalachian folks burning couches. They are 2 touchdown favorites in this game. I think they win. I don't think they cover, though.
I tend to agree. It's going to be – it seems like West Virginia is still adjusting to the new renaissance of Rich Rod. Just kind of getting figured out. I had no expectation for them to beat Pitt, and so when they pulled that one out, that was a big one. But the West Virginia that shows up this weekend, are they going to be able to score, keep Utah out of the end zone? Devin Dampier, I don't know. I tend to agree, though. Utah wins. That kind of travel, they don't cover.
I will admit that Country Roads is about the state West Virginia and not the western part of the state of Virginia if they beat Utah. I think we just fell into this trap of Utah being good again, right? Like, yep. Utah was overhyped. Okie State was considered the best team in the Big 12. They played. It was a very, very close game, and then they both ended up being buns. I was not personally overly impressed when Dampier actually played a competent defense.
Yep.
West Virginia's defense is by far better than their offense is. I think that the defense is going to give them trouble like he just saw last week. I really don't think Utah is who we thought that they were. And I am so glad that I said that Utah was going to be buns at the beginning of the season, because I think it's going to continue.
Justified. Yeah. You love to see it. Well, here's another wrinkle to this game that Timothy's pointing out to us. 7 of West Virginia's main starters are hurt, including the quarterback.
So. You made Pitt eat shit. That's all that matters.
Hey, you can hang your hat on that all year, for sure.
Absolutely.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year. Right. All right, moving on to them Cyclones. Arizona Wildcats come to town to number 14 Iowa State. The Cyclones are touchdown favorites. I like Iowa State in this game. I think Arizona is one of those undefeated teams that's a little bit of a pretender. I think they've benefited from a very soft schedule. I think they're potentially a bowl team, but I don't think they'll beat Iowa State. Am I wrong, Brownie?
Iowa State is going to kill them. We got all of our tight ends back. We got our offensive line back. We literally got everybody that was injured back, except for our kicker, who Schlong was so big, he strained his groin and is out for 6 weeks. So, yeah, him kicking that 64-yarder and kicking them 53-yarders, man, it takes work. So, I mean, that's the only issue that I'm going to have is our special teams. But, I mean, God, our backup kicker just kicked like a 47-yarder in a game, and that was his career long. So, I mean, I ain't scared. I ain't scared of these mild cats 2.0.
Mild.
Juve's best game of the season was a really ugly win against a very bad Kansas State team. If they play at home, mind you.
Yeah.
And so if they played the kind of game, if they play, and that's their best game of the season so far, they played that kind of game on the road in Ames against Iowa State, they're going to lose. It's a 1-score spread. I like Iowa State to cover, but Brownie, hang 70 on those motherfuckers. Hang 70 on.
I don't know if we're going to get a 70 burger. You might have to talk to Matt Campbell to let Mouser do whatever he wants, but we'll try. It's a whiteout. That's all I care about. I get to wear white.
Hey, that's exciting. All right, quick word about Voice of College Football bits.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
All right, moving on to an Alamo Bowl rematch. Remember the Alamo Bowl now on Clint Foster Creations. It's there. Go watch it as soon as this show's over. BYU at Colorado. BYU is a touchdown favorite. I think the Cougars are going to absolutely eviscerate Colorado in this game. I'm glad that Ralphie's running again. That's very exciting. I cannot wait to one day go see a Colorado game and see Ralphie run. Ralphie's not going to have a whole lot of reason to run this week, though. The Mormons are taking it.
Yeah, unless there's like some soaking scandal that's going to come out this week. Like, I don't think BYU is going to be losing this game.
No argument there. It's Colorado's clearly in their transition year after post Travis Hunter and Shador and all those things. So that they're finding their guy, and they just, I mean, we're almost halfway through the season. They still haven't found him yet. So,
I mean, what a chalky week, right? Like every single game is like, yeah. And then we come to the game of the week, which the Big 12 has chosen to lead things off with. It's down there in Tempe. Forget the Devil going down to Georgia. The Frogs are going down to Tempe, all right? A place that historically has not been very kind to us until we played a little team called Michigan over in Scottsdale, okay? But Frogs going to play Arizona State for the first time since the 1970s. We're a little bit of a different program these days than we used to be. But before we get to this, oh my Lord, I hear some music. I hear some music in the distance. I think that might just be Cody Stovall's music. By God, it is. It's Cody Stovall's music. He's in here to give us a requiem for the one and only Mike Gundy. Cody, thank you so much for tuning in with us, brother. I'm trying to get this thing where I can actually see you, and StreamYard is not cooperating with me today.
Well, can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Okay, well, I do have the face made for radio, so this might be the most advantageous route for everybody. I appreciate it. I don't have a ton of time, but I love what you do. I love the program. I love what you guys are rocking and rolling with today, so I wanted to jump on. Yeah, obviously, it's kind of a sad day in Oklahoma State country. Even if you weren't on the I love Mike Gundy and he walks on water phase of your life, it's still difficult to comprehend the fact that the most legendary coach of Oklahoma State history is gone, right? There's no denying that. I do think that it was inevitable. You cannot get beat by Oregon 69-3 with the worst loss since 1915 and then turn around and lose to Tulsa. Those are egregious penalties that deserve to have some ramifications. My only thing is I'm not a big fan of the timing, right? You're going to open this transfer portal window. You're going to have a mass exodus when it comes to the recruiting class. And the higher we're looking in our coaching search, the longer this is going to take and the more difficult I think it is to retain the roster.
Yeah, you brought up a lot of the same points that we brought up. So here's my big question for you is who is at the top of your wish list? Who do you really want to see be the next Oklahoma State head coach?
Me personally, I'm a big GJ Kinney guy, right? I think that what GJ done at Texas State has been remarkable. GJ Kinney has already turned down several big-time opportunities because he wants to basically be in the Big 12. His ideal scenario is likely Baylor, right? Having that Art Briles connection with his dad going back. And unfortunately, they might be firing Dave Aranda, but I think that's also partially due to this timing. Oklahoma State did get ahead of it, so that way we could make our sales pitch before any of these other jobs come open, right? If Alex Golesh is a candidate, we need to get to him before the Florida job opens. If GJ Kinney is a candidate, we got to get to him before Baylor. John Summerall, got to get to him before Kentucky, so on and so forth. You get the drift. From a Cowboy connectivity standpoint, everybody would like to see the prodigal son, Zach Robinson, return home, but you know, there was some things that transpired this summer that maybe some people in his camp weren't a big fan of. And secondarily, the Jets have cooled a little bit, right? Because he was a very hot commodity in the offseason. But Atlanta fans aren't exactly thrilled with his performance recently. And he had a minor revitalization for Kirk Cousins. Then it fell apart. He hasn't been able to develop Michael Penix. So I don't know that that's the most advantageous route. I will say the biggest benefit to is Zach Robinson is him bringing back all the OGs. You've even seen today, Des Bryant's already come out and said that this should be a move that we make. Even if Zach Robinson has untested waters when it comes to coaching, at least from a recruiting, visibility, marketability standpoint, it would look somewhat reminiscent to what Dion has rocking at Colorado. And the difference being they would be Cowboy legends instead of just random NFL legends. But to me, it's a GJ Kinney, Zach Robinson kind of race. However, I will say I've heard from a handful of donors. They have come in masses since the announcement today. So apparently the reports that there was a lot of donors that weren't really willing to spend money with Gundy as head coach. That seems to be true because there are donors coming out of the woodwork that are trying to get Chad Weiberg to take a massive swing, like an NFL level top 25 P4 swing.
Wow.
If that's the case, that would eliminate the John Summeralls and GJ Kinneys of the world. So we're evidently trying to shock the world with the next hire. And I think when you let go of a legend, you have to.
Yeah.
You cannot go get the best guy at D3, which Oklahoma State is famous for. You can't do that this go around. And they seem to be understanding that assignment.
All right. Well, hey, I'm Team GJ Kinney, but listen, if Oklahoma State's going to shoot for the moon, shoot for the dadgum moon, man. Why not?
Urban Meyer's free.
yeah. I think Nick Saban's free
Nick
right
Saban,
now.
wide open.
John Gruden has been a name that donors at least want contacted. But I think that there's going to be at least some political lenses to this, right? Somebody just mentioned Urban Meyer. Would Urban consider Oklahoma State? Probably flipping not, right? But even if he would, I don't think that we would go that route because whether it's right, wrong, fair, indifferent, Mike Gundy has been classified at times politically as somebody that some donors don't love the concept of, right? So there are some things that guys like Urban Meyer and John Gruden have said and done that might be a little too close to the chin when it comes to some of the comparisons with Gundy.
Yeah. Well,
you got to read between the lines there, but you can probably get it.
Yeah. Well, Cody, I appreciate you making the time to jump on and give your 2 cents.
Yeah.
I really did want, with this news breaking today, I was like, you're the first person I thought of. I was like, I'd love to know what Cody has to think. Y'all be sure that if you don't already subscribe to Locked On Cowboys, Cody does great work over there for the Locked On Network. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks, fellas. Keep it
Cody.
trucking, keep it moving. And if you have any GJ Kinney connections, let him know. Stillwater America is right in his recruiting backyard. It's close enough to Waco, and it's closer to Dallas. So if you have connections, feel free to send GJ our way.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man.
All right, fellas. I
See you
appreciate
around.
you. God bless. Go Pokes.
Okay, so back to the game of the week. I'm glad we were able to squeeze that in there. Back to the game of the week, talking about TCU, Arizona State. Again, these two teams have not played since 1975. Arizona State has won both meetings against TCU. TCU might have won 4 the entire decade of the 70s, okay? But this time around, Arizona State is a 2.5-point favorite. Last time we were in that stadium, I believe, was my senior year at TCU for the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl when Sky Dawson muffed a punt and we lost to Michigan State on that stupid muff punt. But I expect things to go differently. Cole, give me your take on this game first. And what's Arizona State going to wear? That's what the people really want to know.
Well, it's a blackout.
Okay.
So let's talk about the blackout. Last year's blackout was black face masks and decals on an all maroon monochrome uniform. Yeah.
Interesting.
So this year, it was not well received. ASU has not worn a black helmet, and for those in the group chat, this is what I do. I cover the uniforms for ASU for DevilsDigest.com. The quarterbacks were pictured wearing black helmets today. They have not had a black helmet option since 2018.
Really?
Yes. So there was a budgetary issue as the safety concerns for certain kinds of helmets started to raise and different expenses for the higher tier helmets came into play. ASU had to eliminate a color helmet. Black was the one that they chose. So then you run into many years of not having that. And here we have the quarterbacks testing them out, getting them conditioned and pictured by the media during practice wearing black helmets. There's also a brand new uniform, core uniform template that's being used this year. So that means widespread. So there's speculation that it's going to be an actual legit blackout. So that's one thing. It is going to be a blackout. As far as the game, man, I mean, I'm kind of surprised we're 2.5-point favorites. At the same time, not really, because we're at home. The defense is good. The defense is really good. Some of the corner play has been a little bit of a liability, but that's also because the pass rush cannot get home. It can't get home. It's been an issue. We have more sacks this year than last year, but that's because the coverage has been good enough to just basically make quarterbacks run around into defensive linemen who just happen to be standing there. But it has been a rough go with Josh Hoover doing what he's doing and Eric McAllister being the thing. That is going to be a Keith Abney, Eric McAllister matchup all night long. Abney has been absolutely stellar. The opposite side has been up and down with Javen Robinson, kind of trading snaps with Rodney Bimage. They're trying to get that spot figured out, who can be more reliable. Safeties have been a little bit more suspect since the loss of Shamari Simmons, who was a standout last year, especially in the postseason. And but the linebacking core has been absolutely lights out. Like, we're talking 3 deep for both positions. They're not losing anything. It's pretty spectacular to see. And you know if there's a substitution that you're going to be good to go. The issue has been the offense. Our Heisman candidate quarterback has looked pedestrian all season long. No longer a Heisman candidate. But going into the season with all the hype, I still love Levitt. He has the heart of a lion. Like he does everything he can to will the team to win. But he's been inaccurate. I think this is my own speculation. There's some throws that took place against Mississippi State during that loss late in the NAU game to open the season, and even early on against Texas State, where the ball came out and it looked like it either a wrist or a thumb injury, just because the ball was fluttering. If you saw the Mississippi State loss, the last play of the game, for all intents and purposes, was an interception. He had Jordan Tyson wide open 30 yards downfield, and the ball just came out. There's no pressure. He rolled out. He had nobody on him, and the ball just fluttered out and listlessly floated into the hands of a Mississippi State defender. He's gotten better since then. He's starting to spread the ball around just a little bit more. But really, we need to get our running game going. It's been good, not great. And also just the passing game really needs to get shored up. Offensive line has been an issue. We moved our left guard, Ben Coleman, to center this year, and have put Texas State transfer Obibo in his spot. Coleman has struggled with the transition both in snapping and in blocking assignments, and having a less experienced left guard has shown in pass pro as well. Levitt has been running for his life a lot. So that's about everything I've got as far as the breakdown of what I've seen on the team so far this year. Malik McClain, also a hero of the postseason last year, as a freshman who was redshirting but got some extra play. And he has been a liability. He's either not missing blocks or holding or dropping the ball. So kind of an issue when you want to try to spread the ball around. So we'll kind of see what happens. But TCU is looking pretty good, man. I don't know. I don't predict games for our team. I can't do it. It's just, I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
Yeah.
But I like the line. I feel like either way, 2.5 points either way is appropriate. These teams seem to match up well. At least on paper, talent wise, they seem to match up very well. It's just kind of going to be an execution thing on Friday.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I kind of think TCU uniform-wise, I'm anticipating the debut of our silver chrome helmets. I think we'll go silver chrome helmets and purple pants. And I'll tell you one thing, if that frog isn't on the helmet, it's over, okay? If we don't put a frog on the helmet, we're losing. So I hope to God we have a frog on the helmet, okay? You mentioned ASU's got a great defense, and they do. But you also mentioned this. Josh Hoover is a freaking dog. He is slinging that ball all over the place. This TCU team is for real. He's got weapons, a deep receiving room, and you want to know something else? We can run the freaking ball this year. We couldn't do that last year or the year before that. We got a running game, and Kavorian Barnes might just be healthy. And even if he isn't, we got the Payne train, Jeremy Payne, and we got Trent Battle Payne, back to back in the backfield. I love this TCU offense to score points on the road. And the defense, now here's the thing. I do worry about Sam Levitt being mobile on us, right? We did not contain Kevin Jennings all that well in the Iron Skillet game. He broke contain quite a bit, but the secondary is playing well. And if they can force a turnover, then I like our chances that much better. I like the Frogs winning this game. I'm going to go ahead and call it 38-35 on the road. It's going to be a really fun one on Friday night. But of course, I got my purple colored glasses on. Nope, there's no mystery about that. We all know where I'm coming at this from. I have this friend on a group chat who's always like literally it's a group chat of all of us we're TCU managers together. And he's always like, well, that's a very TCU perception of things. I'm like, of course it's a TCU perception of things. Who do you think you're talking to? Why would you ask my opinion if you didn't want a TCU perspective on things? But Brownie, we need an objective third-party perspective. How do you see this game on Friday night playing out?
So Arizona at State looks like at home looks like the dynasty of the New England Patriots. On the road, they look like the Detroit Lions that are 0-16 and 1-15. Unfortunately for you, Clint, it's in Arizona.
That is true. That is true.
So I'm fearing that Arizona State is going to win, I do think that they're also going to cover. I think it's going to be more than 2.5. I think that Arizona State knocks TCU down a little bit. And I think with that win, it opens up Big 12 play even more to have even more shenanigans happen. And that's what I want, is I want shenanigans.
Well, you know, Brownie, we had a really good run as friends. You can find your own Iowa State ticket. No. Hey, I mean, yes, I've been worried about this game all off season. You know, it ain't easy to play back-to-back playoff teams, right? And especially on a short week on the road, right? I don't know. I just really I'm flying high right now. I feel like this TCU team is for real. I feel like this TCU team is on a collision course with Texas Tech and Arlington. Knock my wood on that. Okay. But listen, I'm going in. I'm going in with high expectations. And I'm going in with high expectations for a good game. I agree with you, Desert Devil. It is going to be a good game. That I know for a fact. I know that for a fact.
This is also the start of a really tough run. So I don't imagine that it would be any kind of looking ahead, but because why would you look ahead of TCU who's coming off a good win? But we've got a stretch of TCU at home, at Utah, Texas Tech at home in the next 3 games. That is a little bit of a murderer's row. Houston has not.
Utah is an easy win. It's fine.
Yeah, it sounds like a crap sandwich to me.
At Utah,
beautiful pieces of bread with a turd in the middle.
We at Utah has been a struggle. Historically, going back to our Pac-12 days with them, it has been an absolute just rough time in Salt Lake City for ASU. But yeah, Houston doesn't look bad, and then we have Iowa State and Ames. So that 5-game stretch is rough. It's rough. So we'll see how it goes. It's the start of a gauntlet, and I'm hoping we come out victorious, but we'll see what happens.
It's going to be a good one. And we don't have to wait an extra day to see it. It's happening on Friday night. Hope y'all don't have a high school game to be at. My schedule is free. I'm going to be at home watching that game. Believe that. Okay. And yes, Dishfish, like I said, Levitt's mobility, it will give TCU fits. My entire life, I have not seen a single TCU defense that was great with mobile quarterbacks. Doesn't mean we didn't beat them sometimes, okay? But they always gave us fits, and I do
join the club.
Yeah, join the club. Okay, gentlemen, tell the people where they can find you. Here's the red carpet. I've rolled it out for you. Tell them where they can find you.
Find me at ASU_uniformity on Twitter, on Instagram. You can find me at devilsdigest.com. Column comes out every Thursday. And otherwise, I run a thing called fan forums where people put out their uniform or what they're wearing to the games and submit it to me. And I put that out on blast for everybody. It's a big fun time. So anyway, yeah, give me a follow. And I try to keep it positive. We have a good time.
It's you, Brownie.
I mean, if they haven't followed me yet, there's a serious issue here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You say that, but I still got to remind them to subscribe, okay? At Big 12 TFP, subscribe. I told you.
Subscribe already.
We need 32 of you. 32 people. Come on.
He is a man.
Yes, I'm a man. I'm 35. Subscribe to my YouTube show. Okay. And follow me on Twitter at Clint_Foster55. All right. I'm just standing here this is a man trying to get you to watch his content. Okay. At Clint Foster Creations. Subscribe to that too. And remember the Alamo Bowl. I'm prepared to have your life changed forever. Okay. Change your life and share
Nobody
it.
cares about Houston.
Okay. Yeah, nobody cares about Houston. Okay. Houston doesn't even care about Houston. Are you kidding me? All right. I love you,
It's not
Bobby,
basketball season.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So until next week, when hopefully we're going to be celebrating another Frog win. Okay. Among other things. I love you. I hope your team wins. And go Big 12. We'll see you around, folks. R.I.P. Mike Gundy.